My dear colleagues, the session is resumed. I ask you to please return to your seats. Please return to your seats. Here is the result of the vote: number of voters 573, number of votes cast 558, absolute majority of the votes cast 280. For approval 194. Against 364. The National Assembly did not approve the general policy statement in accordance pursuant to Article 50 of the Constitution. The Prime Minister must submit the resignation of the government to the President of the Republic. The session is adjourned.
Merci, Madame la Présidente.
I think we have shown an image of the Republic that is honorable and active. And so, from that point of view, I wanted, on behalf of the government, to thank the National Assembly and, as Prime Minister, to thank the members of the government. I am struck by the messages we are all receiving every minute. These messages are deeply affected by the violence of the rhetoric. And this is exactly the case for the whole of political life. I believe that if we can, through our attitude, try to move away from this image of violence and contempt, we would be doing a service to the democracy we defend.
Nous rendrions service à la démocratie que nous défendons. Sont aujourd'hui soumises.
All these questions today depend on the one which is all fundamental, on the vital question. The vital emergency in our situation is in critical condition. on which our state, our independence, our public service, our social model depend. It's the question of putting our over-indebtedness under control. Your support being the minimum agreement without which I can't continue in my mission. I am asking the National Assembly about only one point that is crucial, an observation of the country's situation. And the addition to the deficit of billions of euros each year has led us to a crushing accumulation, 3,415 billion euros in debt at the exact moment we're speaking. This accumulation has a price. It's the hole that debt servicing makes each year, what we need to pay lenders for interests, and the part of the capital that we need to pay back. And this, we need to allot for it. Otherwise, it's bankruptcy. If we don't do so, we will no longer be able to borrow another cent, meaning we cannot live. Imagine what our family revenue and the state's resources would be if we had 15 or 20% more resources to share. Our salaries 15 to 20% higher, and the state's resources 15 to 30% higher. If we had the production capacity of our neighbors, France will have no deficit problem, it will have no debt problem. And so production is a national emergency. Dear lawmakers, you have the power to make the government fall, but you cannot erase the reality. The reality will remain inescapable. The spending will continue to rise even more, and the burden of debt that's already unbearable will become more and more heavy and more costly.
Today, the political fate of a man is not at stake, who knows that the demands of political struggle obviously go beyond individuals. It is the honor of politics and sometimes the noble servitude to accept it. That is why I am surprised that Mr. Bayrou could at one point believe that I could tie my decision to vote or not vote confidence to my personal interest. It is to misunderstand the national rally and to ignore the intensity of our exclusive commitment to serving France. This moment marks the end of the agony of a phantom government, a government that was a government only in name. In 8 months, ministers who were often invisible or transparent have not been able to produce only 5 legislative texts, 3 of which concerned Mayotte due to the dramatic Shido episode. Clearly, the country is not governed. Is it even merely administered? We are witnessing the collapse of a system that believes it can draw from a scripted observation from its failures a new political virginity. Must one operate under a magical thinking to believe that a sort of born-again American evangelist would allow obtaining celestial forgiveness and divine democratic anointing? This legitimacy that the people, weary of failure, no longer recognize in failed leaders. Leaders from the right and the left, you are guilty.
Yes, today is a day of relief for millions of French people. Relief that you are leaving, Prime Minister, after your lies in the Bethlehem school scandal, which put generations of children at risk. Relief that we no longer have an interior minister who talks like Pétain's French on paper and shouts down with a veil. Relief that you are taking with you your cruel and unjust budget plan that aimed to rob the French people, because you are not only a fraud, but a danger to the country. The violence of your policies begins at birth. More than 2,000 children are born, live and die on the streets, alongside 350,000 homeless people, something unheard of since the post-war period. We solemnly warn all those who attempt to save Private Macron that they will fall with him. The unbowed will never sell themselves for a place in the ministries.